right, it's time for Korea on Demand. And this week we're going to go into the K art world. And of course, joining us on our show, live on Zoom once again. It's been a while since we last connected with her. Sonia Jo joins us. Sonia, it's good to see you once again.
Good to see you too.
Sonia, so you have some very interesting things to share with all of our listeners out there, and you're going to start things off with an illustrator or an artist by the name of Kim Jaeyi. Can you introduce who she is to our lovely listeners out there?
Right, so she's a painter currently living in Jeju Island. She was originally born lived in Seoul, but she moved to Jeju around 10 years ago. She started her career as a painter 5 years ago before she worked as an illustrator. And ever since her inaugural exhibition in Red Wing Art Gallery in Minnesota, United States, she's been actively exploring her career with her paintings. And she has a very impressive record that is including her first ever solo show. It's been sold out shows ever since.
So she was initially an illustrator, and then she transitioned as a painter, and she's only been in painter for 5 years, you're saying, and already
Mm-hmm.
she's very popular. And this is notable here, of course, for all of our listeners out there. Jeju Arirang Radio, we have our frequencies in Jeju Island. We have a studio where Wonders of Jeju is, taking place there. So we like to talk about Jeju, and her main theme or motif of her painting is Henya, or the local female divers on Jeju Island. I know there were many other painters who kind of painted and conveyed Henyas before. Can you tell us who they are?
So I think most popular artist was the Spanish artist called Eva Armisen. Originally, her subject matters are happy family members or a woman going on a shopping. It looks like an animation character. And she was very popular like 5, 6 years ago in Korea. And during that time, she did like a collaboration artwork inspired by Henya. And also there are other photographers in Jeju. Yang Jong-hoon, for example, he's a very well-known photographer who still captures the life of Henya very actively. His works are mostly black and white with dramatic composition, and the Henyas look really energetic, almost like a documentary in a way. And also another artist called Yu Yongye. She lives and works in Kapado Island, very close to Jeju Island. And she's been fascinated by Henya many years ago, and she has actually become Henya herself.
Oh, wow.
So what we can see from her photographs, for example, is that her perspective as a beginner level Henya before. And so the daily lives of Henyas and their working on the water looks all very natural.
Yeah, again, I mean, just the whole tradition of Henyas for our listeners out there, it's really incredible. Unfortunately, it is one of those things where there is a less and less Henyas every year, and of course, young people are not going to, go into that occupation. But here's the thing. Again, I mean, we've seen a number of different kinds of Henya paintings, Henya artworks, photographs as well. But what is so different about the Henyas that are being depicted in Kim Jae's paintings?
So, like the artists that I just mentioned, many artists who either paint or captures Henya with photographs, they mostly focus on the current lives of Henya or what they look like nowadays. What's different with Chei is that she starts with her imagination of what they were like before they become Henya, like
Oh,
when they were,
wow.
like little
Yeah,
girls.
yeah, I'm looking at her paintings. You're right. Yeah.
So before these sea divers became this like Henyas who have very rough lifestyle. They dive into this ocean without any like oxygen tank or anything. It's a very rough life that they have. And so Kim was like, is this what they really wanted when they were younger? Or what kind of dreams that they had when they were little girls. And so she actually communicates and she visits the Henyas that lives in the same neighborhood as she does, and they talk about it. She asks like, what were your stories back in the days? And she decides to paint Henyas as this young, innocent girls doing their own thing. Um, and sometimes she even merges her own artist's own childhood dreams into the painting. So her works become very special and very unique in a way.
It's so funny because there's one painting that I'm looking at particularly where there's again they're all
Mm-hmm.
very young in this on these paintings. And there's one that's
Yeah.
she's got her smartphone out and she's playing with her phone. So obviously back then the Henyas, the age that they are, there were no smartphones when they were young. But this is an
Mm-hmm.
incredible art piece here. But what does she think about these female divers on Jeju-do Island, and what brought her the fascination on Henyas in the very first place?
So when she moved to Minnesota, she lived there for a year, and the reason why she moved there is because her husband, who makes handmade guitar, he wanted to learn about it, and there was a school in Minnesota, and so Kim decided to follow his husband. And not knowing the language, not knowing anybody in this foreign, strange city, she kind of get to think of Henyas as like herself in a way,
Mm,
because at that time, it's like she is jumping into this new chapter of her life with her husband. Nothing sure, she doesn't know anything. So at that period of time, she really thought of Henya like herself, diving into this unknown journey that is life, trying to find her own identity. And so that kind of developed in a new contemporary way of interpreting Henyas, and who are not just trying to make their livings for their children.
so let's, without further ado, let's kind of introduce some of her beautiful artworks.
Mm-hmm. So most of our works have series, and the most popular series is called the Moonlight Henyas. And so if you see the artwork, there's this, it's a beautiful night sky. There's a big moon in the middle of the canvas. The ocean, we can see some reflected lights on it. And in the middle of the canvas, there's this Henya kind of floating around, flying somewhere into the sky. This is one of her most popular artworks. And so there are also other series like Paper Doll series. I personally never seen this paper doll thing when
Mm-hmm.
I was younger, but when she was younger, it was this cutout um, thing that, you kind of have a model in the middle and you can kind of put different clothes on it
Right, right.
as a play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also the other series is called Dreamer's Painting. So when Kim was young, her childhood dream was to protect wildlife animals like zebra, giraffe living in Africa that she saw from the TV. And she kind of mixes that with Henya. So those are the notable series of her work.
I'm looking at again a bunch of these. You're right. Some of her artwork is based on like it's very like dream esque, right? That has like a dream
Mm.
theme in it. But my favorite out of all, there's one where she basically did a parody of the Beatles, right? When they're walking on the Abbey Road,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
crossing the
Mm-hmm.
crosswalk, and there's four Henyas, and they're walking the crossroad here, like, each carrying their own thing. But
Mm-hmm.
let's. It really doesn't seem so difficult to understand, right? I mean, it's. I just looking at the artwork right now. It's beautiful. I do understand why it's such a popular artwork. But what do critics think about her artwork?
So she's getting a lot of positive opinions and critiques from many art critics because of her unique subject matter that is young Hanya and her new interpretation. Art critic Han Jong-pil, who is now also a director of Jeju Contemporary Museum of Art, once said that Jae's paintings has this very unique style with unique composition and narratives, her own strong visual language, strong personality that is nothing like any other professional painters out there.
All right, so let's share some of these artworks as well. What are some paintings we can see at Kim Jaeyi's solo show?
Also, the exhibition is happening right now. It's run until 16th of October. And in this exhibition, we are showcasing 14 of her new artworks that are created this year, including the series of Moonlight, Painter's Dream, Paper Doll, and Fortune Cookies.
Okay, and so I'm trying to show for our listeners out there. I know we have a number of our listeners who are tuning in live YouTube, but for our radio listeners and app listeners out there, yeah, the photos we're seeing. They're very dream-esque, and they're different sizes, not just those regular rectangular canvases. There's some circular ones as well. There's a big giraffe. There's a monster giraffe. Again, so like it goes into her imaginations. I'm wondering what the giraffe stands for in the first place. But this particular exhibition in it, so this is happening where? Is this in Jeju where it's happening?
Yeah, the gallery is inside the Lotte Hotel. The gallery is called a Jeju space. It's a gallery space that we run.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the one in Jeju out there, and again, as this is taking place until the 16th, so you do have a couple of days. We're gonna also show some moving images. That Sonia, did you take these videos yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Can you explain to us this moving one? This is the circular one with like it's Henya swimming.
So the circular one is
Yeah.
the Moonlight series,
Yeah.
and in this series for this exhibition, she actually added thin layers of gold and she mixed with acrylic oil painting.
Oh wow.
And so it's really like new golden brown night sky. And this was actually very high in demand before even the exhibition started, not to mention it's already sold out.
It's sold. They're selling this too, or the exhibition was sold.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. The art pieces are being sold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! I would not be surprised that this is sold out because it's just a. It looks like again what Sonia said. It seems like from an image from a dream. It looks like the Henya is flying through the sky, but in actuality, she's probably swimming. Beautiful yellow moonlight there with the golden. Ocean. Let's see. Any other? We got a number of other of these moving images. Let's share the next one for our listeners out there. This is the paper doll Henya.
Mm-hmm. So if you can see the paper doll, the Henya is the main character, and you can see the idea of changing clothes of the Henya with their either work uniform. There's also this old school vintage school uniform and everyday clothes. I think she's, she wears it when she goes out. So it's a really fun piece.
Yeah, and I do. I mean, I obviously didn't play with paper dolls when I was a kid, but I do remember seeing these as well. Let's move on to our next image that we're going to share with all of our listeners out there. This is again a video feed shot by Sonia herself. This is a bunch of I see like the teddy bear and this is very different from any of the art pieces that we've seen of Kim Jae.
So this series is called Fortune Cookie series. And it started with her idea that she wanted to kind of show appreciation to her collectors and audience who always supports her and her artwork. And so when she was living in the States, she once went to this Chinese restaurant. She was handed over this fortune cookie, and one of the quotes really spoke to her. And so she thought of that and wanted to make her own version of fortune cookies with her paintings to her collectors. So she did put a fortune quotes at the back of the canvas, and she made sure that nobody checks it out, even the collector who actually purchased the painting, until he sees it for himself.
So the only way that you can check out the fortune of this is if you pay a fortune to buy these paintings, and even if you, because I mean, as an art collector, you don't want to open it up, right? Do you have any idea of like how much these artworks are actually going for, though?
Well, I cannot say the exact numbers
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
price of the artworks, but these series are priced under 1 million Korean won.
That's it?
And and but then the thing is, these are already also sold out
Right.
even before the exhibition started. So it's
Un-
very popular.
Under 1 million Korean won. That's not even $1,000 that you're looking at. And she's a very
Mm.
popular. And oh my god, how do you even get information on when you could purchase these artworks before they're put on the exhibition? Teto said, yeah, I agree. One of our listeners, Teto, says one of the artworks with fortune cookie, the Henya looks like IU. I agree. I agree. Even though I'm an IU fan, I do agree. She does look very much like IU. So this exhibition is taking place over in Jeju. But can anyone from like me, is the exhibition going to be moving to maybe a different part of different cities in South Korea?
Yes, so she has an upcoming art fair participation in Daegu, late November, and also her own solo show in December in Seoul. So if you guys who are living around the city, do remember to check out the exhibition.
See, now the big question now is, even if these exhibitions do come to Seoul and Daegu and things like that, Sonia, I need your information. How
Mm.
do I buy these paintings, especially from Kim? I have because that's the other thing, right? The price is so attractive too. You're talking about under
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 here, a million one, and it's beautiful artwork, and she's being recognized all over right now. Is it only for like certain people who are in some kind of special club that are able to purchase these paintings?
Yeah, the Cool Collectors Club. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
You
but I,
can
I was really like, I was about to look it up on the internet right now.
follow follow our Jeju Korea Instagram.
Okay.
And you can slide into our DMs or send us emails, and we can put you on a waiting list for her next exhibitions. You can also follow the artist's Instagram, and she will also be happy to let you know.
Oh, Izuku, you could. I was really looking for that. I really thought there was like an exclusive club where only people members of you have to pay a membership or something like that. Okay, so once again, the Instagram page for you. What was it? Korea Art
Our
Jeju.
Jeju Korea.
Art Jeju Korea is what you want to follow there if you want
Oh,
to.
sorry, it's actually our Jeju.official. I'm sorry, I just changed the
Okay.
account
All
name.
right,
Yeah.
there you have it. For our listeners out there, if you're interested and you want to be in part of that super cool club or something like that, that's where you could get these information. Sonia, really enjoyed the painting, really enjoyed the artist as well, learned something really cool about this industry. Thank you very much. As always, stay safe and looking forward to talking to you again in the near future.
Thank you.